right, can't. Uh-oh.
Oh, he said he'd be there shortly.
This is Shortly.
Hey, Shortly, how you doing?
Oh, that's about as immediate as I can get. I'm short.
You did it well.
Well, yeah. Yeah, just a lot of issues going on, but things are holding for now.
Oh, good. Glad to hear it. Great to hear your voice on here.
Yeah, likewise. I can kind of hear Bud, kind of not. You know, a little bit of hit and miss.
He's not as loud as you are, but, you know, he's only running 100 watts.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
It does. That 6 dB is good difference.
Yeah, okay, that looks better from here for me. Well,
that's Dan. He's good copy over here. Okay, all right. Yeah. He said that you're not too strong to him either.
Yeah, I'm able to copy Bud. He's my noise level is an S6, and he's 6 dB above that, so it's just enough for me to make him out.
So apparently Dan has a much lower noise level. He has an S6 noise level, and he says you're 6 dB above that, so an S unit above it. Okay, you guys are only, what, 15 miles apart?
Yeah, with a hill between us.
Isn't that funny?
CBers could do better than that.
It evidently does not work well for you. And you'd expect on this band it would.
Tell Bud we could do better on 11 meters.
I don't think there's ever a case where I don't hear Jim, and he's about that distance, and there's a mountain between us. He's like 14 miles from me.
Well, we must have a lot of iron in our mountain.
What was that? Yeah, it'd be noisier yet, I would imagine. But, yeah, I had a vertical for many years for 160. I mean, it works. This works a lot better, a full-size dipole. What do you use for a tuner, Bud? Does it use an roller inductor or a tap coil? Yeah, actually I like that better. I've got roller inductors for both of the tuning in the KWS-1. You always end up with spots in them that are noisy. You can see it as you're tuning. You can hear it sometimes, even on the receive. And I really don't like roller inductors. Yeah. Yeah, I know. You could get some conductive silver grease. Sometimes you can find that at good hardware stores. Comes in a real small container. And you put that on the rod, not on the roller itself. Nothing ever on the roller. But on the rod to roller contact is a good idea to do that. And then every once in a while wipe down the actual coil. Yeah, but don't apply any grease to it. I'm going to get some of that and put it on the rods in the AWS-1 here. I think I originally had it, but I'll put them on. I'll put it on it again, but I don't have it on now, and I can hear it when I tune it. Go ahead, Dan.
I was remembering that when I had my my big Palstar tuner, that for the rods on that, they had you mix, I'm trying to remember, oh, it was graphite and white lithium grease is what they liked you to put on the rods, to mix it up that way.
Really? Oh, okay. No, I've never used that. Graphite, I didn't think graphite was conductive.
Yeah, well, you definitely don't want to get it on anything else, but that's what they recommended, was a mixture of white lithium grease and graphite.
Huh, okay. Well, maybe that'll work too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's any better or maybe not as good, but that was their solution.
Now, you probably, I don't know, maybe you haven't. Some of the manufacturers of beam antennas, especially ones that have lots of connections, like ones with traps, they give a grease with them that contains a conductive grease that you use for assembly and then tighten everything down. That's pretty common for aluminum.
I used to use Penetrox for that.
Use what?
Penetrox.
Penetrox?
Yeah, Penetrox. It's the stuff that, you know, PG&E uses when they put wires together so they won't corrode.
Yeah, that's non-conductive.
Oh.
The whole idea is keep the air off it.
I see.
I mean, you got your wire connections, which are made by, actual physical contact or twisted together and then caps put on them or compressed. And that stuff, the gray stuff is not conductive, but in the case of aluminum, which is what it's made for, it prevents it from oxidizing, which is aluminum oxide is a non-conductor.
I was just thinking, for my batteries, lately I've been using, God, what kind of grease is that? It's a clear grease. You use it like in distributors and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. You put it on the points to lube the shaft.
It's on batteries forever. You crimp the stuff down. Once again, you're actually crimping the wire-to-wire contacts, so they're compressed together. But the grease for a battery connector, especially where the wires are crimped together or squeezed, depending on what kind of connector you've got, that also prevents the acid from getting wicked up inside.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name of that. I buy that stuff in a tube. It's the same stuff that you put on the shaft, distributor shaft, to lubricate the shaft for the points. It's called, I can't remember the name of it.
Now, there's some red stuff. I know there's a spray one that you can spray on. It does essentially the same thing.
No, this wasn't really made for that. I can't remember the name of it. But it's a non-conductive, like, grease that you can coat your battery stuff with to keep them, just what you described. But what's the name of that stuff? It's got, I can't remember.
Yeah. I've used both bearing grease and that spray red stuff.
Yeah.
It all works.
It had some kind of name to it. It works fine. I just don't remember what it's called.
You know, that tuner that Denny's got, I gave him, and it was a heat kit that I only paid $75 for it. And I had some issues with it. I had to epoxy one end of it, I believe, the coil, a rotable coil. You know, it had areas you'd have to clean it periodically because it would end up with dead spots in it. Especially along the 160 part of it, you know, the highest induction pin. I never really liked it. They had an enclosure that went out the back of it that it contained the SWR portion of it. And you couldn't get in, I remember you couldn't get in it. You couldn't take the cover off to adjust the pot for power. So the power readings were always off. SWR readings, you know. It was really poorly designed.
I would have thought the first problem you would have had with it is it wasn't much useful for resonant antennas.
Well, you know, there was a time that I had long wires and stuff, and I bought that at that time.
Oh.
Here, kind of forced some antennas to tune a little outside of their resonant point, but you know me, I got rid of all of them. Best tuner I had was the one I lent to you.
I was going to say, that's the only tuner I knew you used, and it was only for your long wire.
That was only rated at 200 watts, but it was made by RF Harris. And I anytime put, 900 into it.
Yeah, they probably rate theirs the same way MFJ does, except it's a conservative instead of liberal.
Yeah, it's the opposite, yeah. The inverse of MFJ.
Exactly.
But I used two roller inductors. I never really had any problems with that one.
I always liked the way it worked.
Yeah, it switches for the capacitors, which is kind of the inverse, backwards way of doing it. But very reliable, very easy to use, and small.
Yeah, Bud was there too. Go ahead, Bud.
What was that, Bud?
You're over at 9 and 10, beginning to get a little better, stronger here too. My tuner never given me any problems whatsoever. It's a great little tuner. And for W6DJD.
Yeah, W6DJD, W6DAX.
I really like the way that Elecraft does it.
So what you bought there, it looks good. How did you end up with that Edcom? Did you buy a new? Bud, did you buy that Edcom tuner you've got new?
Oh, yeah, I bought it brand new.
Okay, so you put out a few bucks.
Yep, I certainly did. I got it from Universal Radio.
And when did you buy it?
About 1986, sometime in there. I bought it about the same time I bought the Kenworth CS600.
Okay. And it was made by Amp Supply, who also made amplifiers.
No, that's permanent, yeah. This is the model.
And it was rated at 2 kilowatts.
Yeah, but I have 2 kW.
Is that a T configuration? What is it? Is it Pi L or T or what?
It's got the 2 capacitors and then the top coil in it.
Oh, it could be a T. It also could be a Pi L too. It'd have I think a larger, wider range if it was a T. Yeah. Well, it's obviously working, and that's the way they should be. That shouldn't be something you need to repair.
I've never had to repair it. I've only taken that piece off once to look inside.
Yep.
It's the best tuner I've ever owned.
Well, it was certainly worth the money then.
Yeah, it was worth the investment. A little pricey, but it was worth it.
Yeah. Well, probably all relative. It's a lot less than it is today, but probably plenty for that time. Oh, is there anybody else out there?
Well, there's Steve's listening on their SDR.
Yeah, not hearing anybody else here.
I'm not hearing anybody here either.
Well, it's kind of early still for 160 meters tonight.
Well, you know, sometimes we've had quite a few people that have popped in because there aren't that many people on 160.
Yeah. Usually when the people do pop in, it's usually interesting to hear from them.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. This is nice to have a, wow. That was a big peak. It was nice to have this little a box circuit working for me.
Are you on the columns tonight?
Oh no, I'm on the MyCom.
The MyCom? Okay.
Something simple. It worked. I wanted to try this. Of course, I could use this with the Collins. Well,
yeah.
Do it.
No, I can't tell any difference. It sounded good last Sunday too.
Yeah, it's actually it's faster now. I put a feedback circuit in it and was able to remove a 2.2 mic cap that I had in there on the base of the Darlington. And the feedback circuit got rid of the oscillation that I had. It was another way to tackle the same problem.
Well, it works really well. It's not clipping anything off.
Yeah, it should be even faster than it was.
All right.
It only had 22 milliseconds delay added to it, which is not much. But now that's not even part of it. It's just should be almost instantaneous.
Wow. Well, I made 209 contacts last weekend on CW in the contest.
Well, that's great.
I worked probably 70 countries, but only one of them was a new one, and that was Lithuania.
I was amazed what I could hear on there when I was sending stuff to you this last weekend. What was it? Probably Sunday morning. I went over and looked at, what is it, WSJT-X or JX or whatever it is. What is it? WSJT, excuse me, -X. And looked at JT-8. Man, oh man, they're all over the world at the same time.
Oh yeah. You'll get like, it's amazing when 15 is open. All of a sudden you'll start seeing Europe in the mornings. You know, like at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning on 15 meters, you'll see Europe all over the place.
I'm sure. 20 meters, I was seeing Europe and Africa and, all over, the opposite direction.
Yeah. It kind of surprises you, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I say. You get that other antenna up, you're going to be surprised you hear even more.
Yeah, and I've been doing all that with just with what I have.
Yeah, which probably is not very efficient.
Probably not. When I get one that's resonant on those frequencies with a little bit of direction, that should really be good.
Yeah, you might find you really like that.
Yeah, I just might, huh?
Yeah, I know I do. I'm still amazed that signal levels are as low as they are, but even with these lousy band conditions, that mode just sticks out. You know, so many people are using it.
Oh, yeah. It works better than CW because that's where all the activity is.
Yeah, that's why I was asking you all those questions.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, everybody says you got to hear them to work them when they talk about antennas and not buying amplifiers, but you also got to go where the activity is to work them also.
Wow, I was amazed. I couldn't keep up with the number of countries just using WSJT on my phone, the iPhone, that mobile app that they have, which is pretty fast. I just didn't type them in fast enough before they'd roll off the screen.
You know, there's an easier way to do that, John.
I'm sure there is.
There's a program called JT Alert.
Want to let you know what's on?
Yeah, it looks at every decode and tells you what state or country it is.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, yeah, it works really good.
Yet another way of making it easier.
Yeah, and it's specifically made to work with WSJT-X.
And it's just another program?
Yep, it's another program. I'll send you a link to it. But you've seen it. I've sent you screenshots of it before. You'll see all these things light up at the bottom.
I must not have put it all together.
It will tell you, it will show you the call and the country, and then you can set it up to tell you that if you've worked that guy before, or you can also set it up to tell you if you need that country confirmed still, or if you already have it confirmed.
So it does the logging and everything.
Yeah, and it does the logging too. It every time you hit the log button at the end of the contact, it'll send it right to your logbook of choice.
So Bud, you're using the digital modes, aren't you?
Yeah, PSK31 and CW.
Okay, but since you're using PSK31, are you using that with FLDG?
No, I'm using that with the bluegrassdan and stock.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you're using a program. So you haven't uploaded WSJT-X yet?
No, not yet. I'm just enjoying the PSK31 right now. I know that with the other stuff, I know the Andrew's got it. Eventually I'll get there. Just take some time to have the time available to work on it, that sort of stuff. But yeah, of course I started in RTTY years and years ago when I was Floyd McGoo, working at the Naval Sports Force Antarctica. That was kind of fun.
Oh yeah, I've done all that myself for many decades. I ran RTTY. I gave you the last stuff that I had.
Yep, I know. I still got that. I haven't put it together yet. It's just on the back burner.
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't even bother. Just take it to e-waste. But this other mode, you just download it off of the internet. You know, it's free, and put it in there and put in your rig type, which I'm sure will appear. You'll be ready to go. When I get the round to it in my pocket. The what in your pocket?
What do we call those little round coins that have a round to it? Hit a round to it?
Oh, a round to it. Okay, sorry. Yeah, because there's no cost to it. It's just a matter of doing it. Like 15 minutes of your time.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of irons in the fire, and we're still working on the place here. All the joys of being a homeowner, you know.
Oh boy, I'm at it every day. I understand what you're saying. We do a lot of work here in this backyard and front yard to make it look like it does.
Yeah, we got a lot of weeds we got to get pulled here, and our pear trees are doing pretty good. We're going to have quite a bit of pears. We got little buds figs on the tree now.
Yeah, we've got pears, and of course the figs are just starting to bud, but those won't be ready till the end of the season. Pomegranates and gosh, I don't know what else. Apples, we got a couple apple trees. Most of the stuff we have is either garden or flowers. I pretty much have an acre planted.
That's good. We got a lot of fruit coming up. We got a plum tree that I think we're starting to have. That might be pretty good.
Oh yeah, I don't have a plum tree. There's one across the street though that they never pick, and gosh, there's so many plums you can get off of that thing. It's huge. That reminds me, I've got to get the tree guy out here to cut down a digger pine. The last one of those. Well, they have huge cones there, and they consume a lot of water, a lot more water than oaks and the rest of them, so I want to get rid of them. I think so. They're a very negative tree to have around.
Yeah, because they get in a windstorm. That's probably why they wouldn't be. The spruce is just good. They grow tall over here, but
oh yeah, the ponderosa could have a taproot that's as deep as the tree is tall. You don't see those peeling out of the ground unless there's something wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, yeah, eventually I'll get going on that. I have to actually transmit on that mode myself. I receive it very well, but I have not gotten that other part of it operational. FLDG works fine on packet to whatever that is. BK232, AT65 used to work. Oh, and of course CW and the RGTY, all that runs off. So things fine. I just haven't messed with it much.
Back into the RGTY. I wish it had RGTY. I got the little Plantronic little modem for RGTY. But what I'm hearing on RGTY is it's mostly just giving reports and that's that. I don't hear very many long QSOs on RGTY.
Oh really? Yeah, I used to, have long QSOs with it.
Oh yeah, well I had the QSO model and the auto tapes and rolled the tapes and I had stacks of the printer paper and all that. And that was the fun days.
Oh yeah, I had a Model 33. I built a ASCII converter for it. And then I had a Model 43 for the last one I ran with that. Some of the equipment I gave you, I used that as the printer.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun back in those days.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I built a HAL. I built a HAL demodulator, an ST6, which was an analog demodulator, and that thing worked really well.
Yeah, I remember those. I built a Fletcher TU-170. That's what I used with mine.
For a while, I had a Fletcher 1000. I never owned a Dubtron. Those were pretty cool.
No, I remember those Dubtrons. So we had them at the Navy Base down in Matthew.
I mean Dubtron. Yeah, they had like a 2-inch CRT in the middle. They had those when I was in the in the Air National Guard.
Yeah, we had those at Point McCoo.
Yeah, those were good. They were regenerative detectors.
Yep, they were good too. Anyway, so goes the days. I ran a lot of patches at our club station from Naval Support Force Antarctica at McMurdo.
Yeah, I remember KC-4 AAA.
Yeah, that was KC-4 AAA. Did you ever work them?
Many times. I've got some cards from them.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Have you ever worked, you probably worked them, Dan, right?
Who is it?
KC-4 AAA.
I'd have to look in my logbook. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
I'd have to look in my logbook, John. I couldn't tell you offhand.
It's a McMurdo station, I think. Wasn't it, Dan? Or not, Bud?
Yeah, that was McMurdo. And my friend down there, he was Navy, and an Imperial Lima Hotel Papa.
Yep.
Oh, those were fun days.
Well, you know, I don't see a lot of difference between RTTY and PSK-32. I mean, they're both conversational.
I think PSK just decodes better is all.
Oh, it does work better by far.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest difference. Otherwise, they're pretty much the same operation.
Now, PSK is very conversational. I like the way you can see a whole bunch of, well, basically that whole set of frequencies that you're looking at a few kilohertz wide. See all those stations on there at once. That's great.
Yeah, it is pretty neat.
And I still, there's a lot of people that are on there. The people that want to talk are on there. Ones that want contacts are on JT-X.
I think a lot of people that work for PSK-31, they're transferring from the RTTY.
What was that about RTTY, Bud?
I said the people that are working the PSK now are transferees from RTTY because the protocol is very similar.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's similar but better.
Good evening.
Hey, listen to who that is.
Oh, hello, Jim.
Hey guys, K4CCF. Been listening for a while on the FDR upstairs, and I just couldn't stand it. Had to come down and say howdy.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for letting me break in.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. We love to hear you.
Hey Jim, I hear you over here. Not too strong, but I'm hearing you.
Yeah, ditto, Bud. I can copy what you're saying, but you're not real strong either. I did hear you talking about JT-X. You ought to try it. It works really well with the SDR plate.
I'm hearing you, but not too strong as well either. But you're making the trip over here.
Well, I said I could copy him, and I didn't that time. I need a relay.
You know, I didn't copy him either. What was that again, Bud?
When I talked to Jim, that he's about a little stronger than Dan. You're the strongest, John. You're F9. Jim's just in and out of my noise. Pretty sure.
Well, I got that I'm an S9. But you must be at a dip because it's pretty hard to copy. What about you, Jim?
I'm having trouble. And by the way, I'm barefoot, which is probably why Bud's not copying me real well.
Did you get that, Bud? Jim said he's barefoot, which is probably why you're not copying him. I'm not. I'm running more power than normal even. So close to the legal limit.
Same power.
Well, my main message for Bud was that JT-X is real easy to set up to work with his FDR Play software, and he ought to try it. I did it. watched the signals come in, got an idea where my antenna, picks them up from, and then I got bored and uninstalled it.
Oh, you uninstalled it?
Yeah. After I watched it for a few days and I had a sense of where the signals were coming from and where I was not able to copy, I thought, well, I've learned as much from this as I'm going to learn.
Okay, yeah, I'm not uninstalling it, but I have never transmitted on it. And I don't listen very often, but I did after we talked Sunday. I was texting Dan back and forth, and my gosh, you could hear all over the world.
Yeah, I agree. Turns out one of the nets that I wanted to check into has a net control in North Carolina, and I've consistently had trouble reaching the guy. And then just from watching the propagation from JT-8, I figured out, well, I'm not hearing anybody from North Carolina, so that's just at a no.
But what made you think somebody was on in North Carolina?
I know that there is, because there's a net with a vintage sideband net on 20 meters on Sunday. And one of the net controls is a former friend of mine, WSJT-X. He used to live in the Bay Area.
Okay, and you never hear him?
I can tell he's in there, but I can never get through to him.
On what band?
14293.
14293, okay.
So, just letting JT-8 run in the background, I figured out that it's just because my antenna doesn't touch North Carolina.
That really seems strange to me.
Well, it touches Alabama and Georgia really well.
Boy, that'd be a real little narrow no there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Especially at that distance.
Well, Jim, your signal's coming out. Your antenna's reaching 3 on 160.
Well, Bud, I heard you in there, but I could not make out what you said.
Is Bud running power?
No, he's only running 100 watts.
I've only got 100 watts here, Jim. So your signal is coming up a little bit there, Jim.
Yeah?
But I'm only running 100 watts. That's all.
I heard all of that.
Yeah, I heard you a little better that time, Bud.
Yeah, I'm hearing you stronger than John right now, Jim.
Well, that's saying something. I'm running over 10 times the power.
John's still S9. My nose level is S8. And Jim, you picked over S9 about 5 over.
I love this band.
Oh, it's where your antenna's resonant.
Pretty much.
You would expect the most out of it. This is a resonant antenna, too. It's just at, 32 feet.
Well, I hate to say hi and bye, but I need to go get a shower and turn in before I turn back into a pumpkin. Just couldn't stand it. Had to come down and say hi to you guys. So, see you Saturday morning, K4CCF. Good night, everybody. 73.
Good night. Catch you later, W6DAX.
Great signal right there. I'll pull a plug here, too. I'll get back to my other project. So I'll see you Saturday morning on the old resonant 367-foot antenna. So I'll say 73 you, Dan, if you copy, you, John, and Jim. Have a great rest of the week. W6TJE.
Okay. See you later, Jim and Bud. It's been great talking to you. And you have a nice week. Maybe we'll look for you this weekend. W6DAX.
See you later there, Jim. Good to hear you on tonight. You sound great. You're a very nice signal way above the noise floor here. And okay, Bud, I copied everything you said. I'll look for you Saturday. If you could take that 367-foot antenna and send it straight up, it might improve things a little. But nevertheless, we copied you okay. Have a nice evening, Bud. KM6CQ. I guess he's gone.
Yeah. I just sent you a little text there.
Oh, okay.
That I'm seeing, Dan, are related to this text are just normal stuff below the the legal limit, but some of these things are alarming.
Yeah. Hope everything's okay.
Yeah, everything's fine.
All right. You just surprised yourself.
Yeah, well, the thing is tough, so, you know, and I think those peaks are probably in between spaces of speech, where the capacitors can charge all the way up, because I've got a big bank of capacitors in there now, so, you know, instead of 8 picofarads, I've got over 8 microfarads, I got over 60. First teach, you can end up with quite a bit.
So it kind of adds a little capacity intermittently.
Most of the peaks here are just over 1,000, 12, 1,300.
So it just adds a little capacity in there occasionally.
Yeah, it just has a, you know, full charge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's something I didn't see with the choke input filter at all.
Wow.
There's a lot more voltage drop.
Well, that's plenty.
Oh, yeah. That's quite a bit.
Yeah, well, your signal's very nice tonight, John.
Oh, good. I'm glad it's working well. This transceiver, of course, drives the amp very, very well.
Yeah, you're running a steady 10 over.
Oh, good.
Just right.
Yeah, you're good signal quality here.
Yeah, the band's gotten a little better, too, since we first got on as the sun's starting to go down.
Oh, is that right? Yes, right. We're not even to sundown yet, are we?
No, I mean, when we first got on, I could hear a little noise in there with you, you know, but that changed.
Amazing. I'm wondering why Scott hasn't got on in a while, you know. Maybe he's just not around.
He's probably busy, would be my guess.
That could be. I sent him a thing about SB 910, which is you know, a bill that's up before the legislature, and it looks like it'll pass. And if it does, then PG&E, I might have mentioned about it. PG&E in high wind events or projected high wind events can turn the power off to areas that are, you know, considered, you know, high fire areas.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that on
generator over his place for years, probably at least 15 years. He's never hooked it up. I sent him a text and I said, "You better hook it up. You're going to need it."
Yeah, he might now. So it looks like that's going to go through without much problem, huh?
Them off the hook. Well, basically, the weatherman says if it's going to blow like crazy in any specific area, and if it is, all they got to inform everybody on the robocall thing with the first responders and the hospitals and all that, you know, first, and then the rest of the people. I think you just shut it down.
Well, if they did that over here, it'd be bad because it would affect such a big area so frequently that they would have to double electric rates when it was on just to make up for the lost business. Kind of like they did when everyone went to LEDs.
Wind over there. I don't know what they do, what the criteria they set. There's not that much to burn there, though, is there?
Not in town. But, you know, all the hills around here and stuff, there's quite a bit.
Close by and things that can blow down on it, where Jim lives. It would be prudent to do that. It really would.
It would probably save a lot of catastrophes.
Yeah. Because now they, at the very least, they're going to stop doing the 3 reclosures. You probably noticed that before, right?
Yeah, they do that all the time here.
Yeah, so that pretty much guarantees you could have a fire if you've got something down. And then you reclose again, try to, you know, pump a whole bunch of voltage and current again into that short. If you do it 3 times and then it calls it quits, pretty much set it up so you could light something up if it didn't light up from the first part of the incident.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's probably happened.
Oh, it has. And the BG&E's being sued now for by multiple entities over there in the Santa Rosa area. I'm not sure if any of that's going to play because the winds they had were extreme winds, unusual for them. And so I'm not sure that that would have made much of a difference. And it would have made a difference to have that feature enabled, but they were not allowed to by PUC. Now the PUC is saying, yeah, go ahead, do it.
Well, now if they don't do it, they're exposed to liability.
Yeah, but it's got to be passed. It's got to go into law. And if that is something that's passed, then they'll be able to, they have to, it's not real simple. They have to submit a plan every year for the areas they expect to have issues or expect to be shutting down. And they have to submit that plan in advance.
Well, yeah, because it's not that simple because you have people on machines that support their life, and they have to be able to make preparations for that.
Yeah, all these people that are at home that are on dialysis or something that requires or oxygen or something that, that their power is their lifeline, are going to have auto start standby generation.
Of course, you would think that they already would, but we know they don't.
Yeah, you would think that they already would. That's true. We have very few outages here. They do a lot of tree trimming, but, if they had really high winds, things would fall on trees, I can assure you. It's one of the worries that we had. In fact, I just looked over my homeowner's insurance because I caught that thing on the news about Santa Rosa where there are only 200 and some of the 2,700 homes in the Coffey Park area were being rebuilt. The rest of them were in limbo. So I looked it up. Turns out 61% of homeowners are underinsured.
By multiple companies, right?
To, rebuild, nobody will take your job on.
And it's probably not just any one company. It's probably industry-wide.
It's all the companies.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, they do an estimate of what it costs, but the estimates are low. I checked mine, and I'd increased it. Right now it's at $629.7. It goes up every year. And that's just for the rebuild. That's the contents are another over $500,000 plus.
Yeah, I need to check mine, make sure it's appropriate because
$289 a square foot. And they were saying for Coffey Park the amount starts at $280 and goes up to $600 a square foot.
Wow, that's quite a big spread.
I've got to talk to my son-in-law. I checked theirs because it was our property, and their insurance is $180 a square foot.
Yeah.
$110 a square foot less than mine.
That's quite a spread on what it can go to, starting from, what did you say, 380 or 280?
Mine's $289 a square foot with the amount of insurance I've got right now.
It must be, part of it is the race to be competitive, to get your business, low quotes, that kind of thing.
I don't know. You would think they could build a house pretty handily for that. Insurance companies fix this stuff. It's not, it's all with a model. But I looked at the actual writing, which we hardly ever do, when you get your policy. Do you read everything? Probably not.
No, it's kind of like the EULA agreements on software.
That states that this number that we're telling you you have to have as a minimum very likely will not replace your home, and maybe significantly less than necessary to replace your home. But it's up to you to pick the right number.
Yep. 61% of the people in Santa Rosa did not.
61% of the people nationwide are underinsured.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's huge.
They're going to go to the government and tell them they want money.
6 in 10.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So I'm glad I picked up on that because, that seems really odd that only 200 and some people have homes that have been rebuilt or in the process of being rebuilt. All the rest of them are just vacant lots.
Wow.
So, something to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe we can learn something from it.
Yeah.
Worth looking into anyway. Well, I better get out of here. Good talking to you. My wife got home. I want to go talk to her. We decided, like I mentioned, we're not going to do the trailer thing. And we are going to go, instead, well, not instead, but we are going to go to my wife's dream vacation here in July for a week or so. And is to Tahiti.
Wow, that sounds great, John.
That's got to be fun, I hope.
Oh, yeah, you guys will have a good time.
Yeah, she's wanted to go there ever since she was a little kid. Her mother wanted to go, and neither one of them have made it, so hopefully this is going to work out well. We'll fly out of LAX.
Just make sure you don't get rained out.
Well, you never can, you just don't know. We're going to be on a ship, goes island to island, but it's a sailing ship. It's a 4-masted or 6-masted sailor, 300 and some feet long, with 148 maximum people, 101 crew members.
Oh, that sounds really nice.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. We'll visit quite a few of the islands. It's not a big tour that we're going on. But, and we'll also spend a couple of nights in the same hotel in Bora Bora.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. Yeah, you guys have a good time.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. And that's coming up now, too. So I go in there and talk to her about it because she did the final stuff for us this morning.
All right. Well, that sounds great, John.
Okay, you take care. Good talking to you, Dan, as always.
Yeah, likewise, John. Always good talking to you, and enjoyed it tonight. So have a nice evening. Hello to Marilyn. We'll look for you on Saturday morning.
Okay. Take care. W16X is clear.
Good night, John. KM6EQ.